Coming from Tom's Hardware, this is what we call in the technology world an exceedingly bad day. PBS broadcaster loses access to 50 terabytes of data comprising 70 years of TV history after contracted cloud storage vendor goes defunct. Public TV channel sues Iron Mountain Data Center, which hosts archival material to ensure preservation. So basically what is happening here is there is this PBS broadcaster. They had 50 terabytes of video going back 70 years. They went to a data storage provider. They paid the fee for the storage provider. They uploaded all their content to the storage provider. And it appears that the storage provider basically went bankrupt. And now there is a big question about how they are going to access all of the content that they have put up onto that storage provider. And there's a real question on whether or not that content can even be saved. It might go away entirely. And so this is the one of the things that I talk about with being a real technology professional. The difference between a vibe coder and a technology professional is this is what technology professionals are supposed to be thinking about. They're supposed to be thinking about backup regimes. They're supposed to be thinking about disaster recovery regimes. They're supposed to be thinking about what happens if this product fails, what happens if this service fails, the whole nine yards, and make sure that everything is able to stay up and running to a good enough degree, depending on whatever their resources and budgets are. The problem that we're getting to in the modern world, especially in 2026, in the era of vibe coding, is that most people don't understand these concepts. They don't understand the idea of disaster recovery. They don't understand the idea of backup systems and the whole nine yards, and so they think they can do it themselves. So they just go out there, they swipe a credit card to purchase, a product or service, and they figure, okay, all of my problems have been solved. And then their product or service goes bankrupt and they're entirely screwed. One of the reasons that I'm bringing this up is because this is one of my big concerns in the modern world of artificial intelligence. When you look at companies like OpenAI, Sam Altman has literally stated that he wants OpenAI to be an intelligence utility. Just like you go to the electric company or the water company or the sewage company and you pay them a fee and you get a service basically, throughout the month. The idea is that OpenAI will become a key component of your internal systems, all kinds of internal systems, everything from vibe coding to how HR decisions are made, how advertising is done, right? It is going to be a key component to all of that. He wants to be that to be in the middle. And one of the things that I argue is what happens when you design your architecture that way and then OpenAI goes belly up, because we are going to see that out of the AI companies. Now, I'm not great at foreshadowing. I can foreshadow and know that AI companies are going to fail. Which ones are going to fail? Who the hell knows? But again, if you look at OpenAI needs a $1 trillion valuation for their IPO. Sam Altman said if they don't hit $1 trillion, it is a non-starter, which basically means that they cannot continue trucking along if they don't get that valuation, if they don't get that additional money in. You look at the chief revenue officer. She was with, I think it was Slack or LinkedIn or whatever, for 10 years. She was with her last company for a decade. Comes to OpenAI, chief revenue officer at OpenAI, right? Bringing in revenue for one of the hottest startup companies to ever exist, and she quits after 8 months. Right? We see this right now with the CFO and the CEO of OpenAI, where they seem to be having an argument. The CFO seems to want to push OpenAI's IPO well into 2027, and the CEO wants to pull the IPO forward as quickly as possible. And what it seems like is going on here is that the CFO knows the paperwork looks like garbage, and the CEO knows that they're basically running out of money in their bank accounts. Think about this with OpenAI, where they're now slowing progress on their latest model. And we are informed because this is because of cybersecurity reasons. So they're slowing training and they're slowing development of their latest model because of cybersecurity. Does that even sound right to you? When you look at the disaster of the artificial intelligence companies over the past 5 years, Do you really think they do things because of the safety and security of the rest of mankind? Or would they be doing it because they might be running out of money? They need to pull back on their spend and optically, right, slowing down development because of cybersecurity issues looks better to investors in the rest of the world than slowing down development because you might be running out of cash. And so this is one of the things that I've been trying to warn people about, right? We see this with every technology cycle that companies come in, they get overinvested in. You have customers, clients, they buy the particular product, they get everybody to use a particular product that becomes core to how they do things. And then the company goes bankrupt or out of business or whatever else, and it is just a complete and utter disaster. So this example today is I just want to show you this is the real world, boys and girls. This is what happens. 9PBS is afraid that it will lose over 70 years of archival material and programming after its contracted cloud storage vendor has apparently gone out of business. According to current, the channel used open source storage, or OSS, for storing over 50 terabytes of data. So this is probably one of those things, again, open source storage. Anybody want to bet on if the reason they went for it is because it was inexpensive? Again, this is one of the problems you get to with C-level executives, especially with companies that don't have a lot of money. They look at the bills for products and they go, well, we should go with this product because it's cheaper. And you're like, yeah, but you know, there might be reasons why it's cheaper. But anyways, who knows? Who knows why they made the decision? For storing over 50 terabytes of data, but it suddenly lost access to its data earlier this year. 9PBS has been working with OSS and its predecessor since 2019 and intended to renew its contract on March 6th of this year. And this is one of the things to be thinking about, again, with these companies, right? There's this idea when I talk about startup companies failing, or I talk about technology companies failing, there's the idea is that they boom and they bust relatively quickly. 6 months, a year, 2 years. OpenAI isn't going to fail. They've been around like 10 years at this point in time. One of the things you have to understand with these failures is sometimes it can take a long time for these companies to get to the point of failure, and you may have been using them for a long time before everything goes boom. Oh, let's see here. The company, let's see here, and its predecessor since 2019 and intended to renew its contract on March 6th of this year. That's an easy sale. Yes, we are definitely going to renew our contract. Hello? Is anybody there? The company never responded, and this is what's so fucked up. The company never responded and abruptly cut off the station's data access, even though it still had 30 days to retrieve its data after the contract ended. The station dug a little bit deeper when it discovered that the OSS website no longer existed and was listed as delinquent under the Colorado Secretary of State. It also discovered that OSS utilized Iron Mountain services, so it sent a demand letter to the latter to preserve its data and to, quote, pay any reasonable costs associated with its demand. At the time, Iron Mountain did not confirm or deny that it processed 9PBS's data. So basically what's going on here is OSS was essentially like a third-party vendor, so they use somebody else's cloud infrastructure. So you used to see this a lot, especially go back 10 or 15 years. When AWS came out, a lot of us had no idea how to use AWS. Again, my famous question to my employee back in the day, when I looked at my employees, like, yeah, this seems really good, but how do you FTP files to it? I don't fucking know. It's 2008. Anyways, right? So what happens a lot of times is you have this infrastructure as a service. The infrastructure as a service, again, it is a product per se, but it's not a product many people really understand how to use. And so essentially what happens is people will create the shell, or they'll create a platform using that product as the back end. So Iron Mountain or AWS or Azure, that will actually house all of the files and everything, and then they'll basically build something on top of it. So what's going on here is that OSS was the company that this PBS station was actually dealing with. They used Iron Mountain for the back end. What's interesting about this, and again, I think this is one of the problems a lot of folks are going to run into, is they say, well, OSS failed, but Iron Mountain is still there, right? Our files should still be there. The issue you run into this with, though, is depending on how Iron Mountain actually stores the files, depending on how the associations work with things like the people that are purchasing services from them and the whole nine yards. It might not be very easy or even or actually possible for Iron Mountain to simply extract out PBS's data, right? So let's say OSS was using some kind of database management system and then essentially just dumping data into one massive pool. So what might happen there is you have the 50 terabytes of the PBS station's data, but you might also, within the same pool, have a whole bunch of data from other companies. The issue that you run into with that is, think about from a confidentiality perspective. Does Iron Mountain know who belongs to what particular files? If they release 50 terabytes of video files along with half a terabyte of somebody else's crap, does Iron Mountain then get the crap suit out of them for violating privacy policies or that type of thing? That's one of the ways that this can get really nasty. The other issue for Iron Mountain is, do they even want to deal with this? Like, look, we store files. We store files. Yeah, were you able to upload files onto our system? Yeah, great. We did our job. Now fuck the hell off, right? That's also a very reasonable response from Iron Mountain, to not want to get in the middle of this mess, because once they get in the middle of the mess between the PBS station and OSS, then one of the big questions that comes up is, what other messes are they going to have to get in the middle of? And then one of the things with this, again, they say pay any reasonable costs associated with its demand. Well, these people went with OSS. They didn't go with Box. They didn't go with Dropbox. They didn't go with AWS. They didn't go with Azure. They didn't go with so many other file services out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you heard of OSS? I have never heard of OSS before in my life. I'm spitballing. This is my opinion. This is my professional opinion. When I hear about PBS going with OSS, I gotta believe it probably has something to do with the cost, right? So what PBS thinks is a reasonable cost, and what Iron Mountain might think is a required cost, might have nothing to do with each other, right? Again, if you're thinking about, you're dealing with technology professionals, $100, $200, maybe $300 per hour going through trying to extract specific data. Plus, you've got the egress and everything else going on. I mean, the real expense for that, honestly, it might be something like $50,000, right? Again, depending on truly how ugly the situation is, and the situation could be very ugly. And again, is PBS going to think that's a reasonable cost? Probably not, if they went with OSS for their storage solution. So yeah, this is just kind of one of those a heads up, a foreshadowing for the world of AI, of what can happen when key infrastructure goes belly up, or essentially becomes unusable in a way that you are not expecting. Right? Talking about this with things like VMware in the past, virtualization software. I've talked about this in the past. We see this again and again and again, and it's going to come for the world of AI. So what do you think about this? What do you think about 9PBS? Storing 50 terabytes of their archival video files onto a no-name file storage provider that basically just went belly up one day. Do you think they should have actually hired a technology professional? Think about how much money they could have saved if they hired an actual technology professional and didn't just let one of their interns set this horse crap up. And are you going to use this type of story to go to your executives and say, this is why I need the budget that I have been requesting? Put your thoughts down below. If you like these episodes, do remember they're on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Link is down below. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. With that, see y'all later.